How do the Ravens upset the Chiefs?
Well, for one, you know their defense, the Ravens, Wink Martindale, their defensive coordinator, they play a 34 front. Can that give Patty Mahomes in the offensive line? We've talked about yesterday Eric Fisher, the left tackle for the Kansas City. He's not going to be playing in this game. And if you talk about Baltimore and covering Baltimore, they've been playing football back in Baltimore since the Ravens 21 years. 18 of those years, they've been either in top 10 and either in scoring or in yardage. And that's just an incredible stat. 18 out of 21. They have another defense that they've added, the free safety. Earl Thomas. Earl is playing well in this system. He's been re-injuvenated after struggling the last couple years there in Pete Carroll's system. But this should be an exciting game. How do they win? Baltimore's defense got to play outstanding. What is outstanding? If you can hold Kansas City in the 20s, 27 points, keep them under that 30, that's the way to victory. And we know time of possession. Which team in the National Football League leads time of possession? That's Baltimore. That has a lot to do with Lamar. I believe that Lamar, he's playing some of the best football of any dual-threat quarterback that I've ever seen play the position. I came into the league with Randall Cunningham. I saw Michael Vick emerge. Neither one of them were able to play at the level as far as when they had their youth, being able to run and understanding concepts and throwing the ball effectively down the field. People don't realize Baltimore Ravens second in the NFL with the Chargers in 14 plays of over 20 yards. So we know the defense has to play outstanding, contain them, keep them under 30 points. Lamar's got to be the dual threat, continuing to grow in that offense. And I believe this is going to be one of the most exciting games that we've seen and potentially a preview of something to happen in the AFC playoffs.
And a game that I believe, will be discussing, no matter who wins it, in December when we are looking at, okay, so who's a team right now that can get a bye? Who's a team right now that is positioned well for the playoffs? Because in the AFC at the moment, there are three teams that have separated themselves, even through just two weeks of the season. The Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. They are the preeminent favorites in their respective divisions, and those three teams right now are the teams who are most confident. In fact, they might be the only three teams in the conference right now that you can say with a level of confidence are going to be in the playoffs.
Right, especially with the Ravens. Who's chasing them? That being Pittsburgh, quarterback out.
Exactly.
We got
Cleveland doesn't look good.
Darnold with mono. Cleveland, man, they got a tough stretch of 5 weeks.
Yeah.
They might be out of this after 7 weeks.
And the Chargers gave a game away this weekend as far as a team that competed with Kansas City. The reason I bring up those three teams is the difference between first and second in the playoff picture is big but not enormous. The difference between second and third is absolutely critical because you get a bye. So this game will have reverberations for, I think, months going forward. Now, how do the Ravens win? They have to get out to a fast start. Kansas City against Jacksonville. A Jacksonville defense that, by the way, since playing Kansas City, has allowed a total of 20 points. A Jacksonville defense that looks pretty damn good when they're not playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs scored on 8 consecutive possessions against Jacksonville. The Raiders the following week. Look, they got off to a good start, 10-0 in the first quarter. And then the Chiefs ended the game by halftime with 4 straight touchdowns. The Ravens need this to be need the Chiefs to be in a position they haven't been yet this year. 1-score game at halftime. Close going into the second half where the Chiefs have to play a full 60 minutes. Where the Ravens can maybe take advantage of the weather. It's supposed to be windy and rainy in Kansas City. Grind on Kansas City with a power running attack. Let Lamar, especially if it's a sloppy field, on a potential pass play, break off and run himself and see if the defenders can get with him. Mark Andrews is a key player in this game. Everyone's talking about Hollywood Brown. The Chiefs will prepare for Hollywood Brown as much as you can prepare for one of the fastest people in the league. But Mark Andrews, the tight end, the Chiefs had trouble covering tight ends last year. I would imagine he could be an enormous weapon for the Baltimore Ravens. But what, to me, this game is going to come down to is, can the Ravens score 30 points? Because I agree with Chris. I don't think you're going to be able to hold Kansas City to 17. Kansas City, at a minimum, is going to get 27, 28 points. That's a bad offensive game for them, even if they're playing a great defense. But right now, the only player in the league playing better than Patrick Mahomes is Lamar Jackson. So we're getting in week 3 a game between two players playing at a higher level than any two players in the league. Lamar's going to have to play great for them to go to Arrowhead and get the upset.
Last season, the only game that really worried you as a Chiefs fan was this one against the Ravens last year.
Yep.
This is a much better quarterback in Lamar Jackson this year. He has a year under his belt. That was, an overtime loss for the Ravens?
Yep.
Lamar Jackson said he felt that loss and took it with him all offseason.
Yes.
He's now a stronger, better quarterback. How do these two teams differ from the teams you saw last season, and does that give the Ravens any more of an advantage?
Well, I think that Greg Roman, the time that he was able to spend with Lamar this offseason, and what they have learned about pass coverages, how comfortable he's got throwing the ball. I was like, well, who do I give credit on TV? He said, well, I write the music, and he raps. And so they're doing it together. They've spent so much time. Lamar has worked on the basics of being a quarterback. What are my drops? What are my reads? Where's the ball going? Where are the protections weak? And that will affect this game more so than anything else that we've seen. One thing I know that Baltimore is excited about is when you watch that Raiders film, 3 of the 4 quarters, Kansas City didn't score. So, yeah, they did score 4 touchdowns in one quarter, but the rest of the quarters they didn't. And that Raiders defense does not present the problems or have the coverage people that Baltimore had. So, for me, Baltimore's always been strong up front. I believe their secondary, especially with their safeties, Lamar's passing, they're the difference between this year's game and last year's game, Nick.
And last year's game, Tyreek Hill was playing. He's not playing in it. Last year's game, Eric Fisher was playing. He's not playing in this. So the Chiefs, I would argue, 2 most critical pieces of their offense other than their quarterback. Their best offensive lineman, most important offensive lineman, the most dynamic receiver are out. And the other biggest difference is this. In last year's game, on the final play of the game, 4th down in overtime, the Ravens took Lamar off the field because it was 4th and, I think, 20, and he was such a limited passer that if they were going to go to a passing play, they felt more comfortable with Robert Griffin III being in there. That is not the case with Baltimore anymore. Lamar has blossomed in a way I don't think anyone could have expected this early as a passer. So the Chiefs are not going to be able to have a game plan of just take away the run. They're going to have to defend every blade of grass. That's been very difficult for Ravens opponents.
And the Chiefs need Honey Badger. They don't need Tyrann Mathieu. They need Honey Badger with all those tight ends. They got 3 tight ends. He's going to have to play big, and Lamar in that running attack. So let's watch Tyrann Mathieu. He's one of the new additions to Kansas City. That should be an upgrade.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.